As a new homemaker, there are so many things to learn that it can be difficult to know where to start. Learning to cook from scratch, bake sourdough bread, and decorate our home are tasks that I learned early on and really enjoyed. Other things like cleaning, laundry, and other daily disciplines did not come so naturally to me. When I was growing up, Saturday morning was chore day. While I spent a majority of the week focusing on school and sports practices, Saturday was the dreaded day where my parents gave us a giant checklist of things to get done. I always hated spending my day off on these chores and would just try to get them done as quickly and usually as poorly as possible. As an adult, caring for my own home proved to be more difficult than I thought. It turns out I didn't know how to notice what needed to be done on my own, and I would be left overwhelmed with the mess in my house. I was in desperate need of the checklist, just like the ones my parents gave me, to tell me what to do for my own home, but I found that overwhelming too. You might find these on Pinterest, and they give you weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly ideas for what to do. But I was paralyzed by those options, and I didn't know how to prioritize and alter the list for my own house. That brings us to where we are today. In this last year, I've been pregnant, had a baby, nursing, and I'm relearning how to do everything I did before in this new season. A lot of those chores that fell into the monthly or less frequent categories have been almost completely ignored since my son was born. For some reason, I had it in my mind that I needed to set aside an entire day, once a month or whenever, to complete all of the infrequent chores on that list. Therefore, I never actually did any of them because it's completely unrealistic that I would be able to complete them all in a single day. This week, I decided to stop caring what the checklist told me needed to be done and start prioritizing what my home actually needs. Our fridge and our pantry need a reset, and now that our son is starting to move and crawl around, our floors desperately need to be mopped. And although I could certainly think of many more chores that need to be done, these 3 things are at the top of my priority list because they affect our day-to-day life. If I keep waiting for a special day to do these quote-unquote big chores, I'll be stuck waiting and never get anything done. So I told myself, I have this entire week to accomplish these 3 tasks, and I can only do 1 each day. No more and no less. I started off the week with our fridge. Not only did it need to be cleaned and wiped down, but it also needed an overhaul of the leftovers. And I don't even want to admit how long some of these things have been in our fridge. It's not that cleaning out the fridge is actually hard, but the thought of dealing with the leftovers, cleaning out the Tupperware, being faced with my laziness over the last few months of leaving things in here is just something I don't want to face. But once I started the chore, it turned out to actually be so much easier than I thought. Getting the Tupperware out, throwing away the leftover food, and washing them off and putting them in the dishwasher maybe took me 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. Then it was just a matter of wiping down some dirty spots in the fridge, reorganizing it to work better for our family, and now it's clean and empty and ready for new groceries. The next thing on my list to tackle was our pantry. Now, the before doesn't seem so bad, but what's happened over time is that we just keep shoving things into our pantry without any real sort of organization. The things I use most often, like baking supplies and oats and sugar and different things like that for cooking from scratch, have been on the bottom shelf where they're harder to reach. Whereas snacks, canned goods, pasta items have been in the middle, but I don't use them as often, so it doesn't make sense to keep them in the most accessible place. And the top shelf has really just become a place to store things that we don't want to deal with. So I need to do an overhaul. I want to take everything out of the pantry, go through what we're actually using and what I could probably take to a food pantry or just throw out because it's expired. And then I want to revisit how I have it organized. I want to start off by addressing some of our bulk baking supplies. In the past, I've just kept these in the bags that they come in, but they're really difficult to get out when I need them. So I'm going to transfer them to a container that keeps the items fresh and easy for me to reach for. Then on the bottom shelf of the pantry, I want to put all of those canned goods, pasta items, things that I reach for only when I know I'm going to use them. And lastly, the top shelf is no longer going to hold our random junk. Some things are going to get donated, some things are going to get thrown away, and I'm going to fill that space with empty jars and things that I need when I'm adding new things to our pantry. This job was kind of a long one, but it's because I was slow to make decisions during the process. I wasn't sure what to get rid of, what to repackage, and what to put on each shelf. And sometimes that's the hardest part of these chores. It's the decision making that's behind the organizing. But luckily, my son decided to take a really long nap today, and I was able to get it all completed and organized while he was asleep. My last chore of the week was the most intimidating for me, mopping the floors. I actually chose to save it for a day my husband would be home to help with the baby so I could guarantee to get it done. I don't know why it always feels like such a big task to me. Maybe it's because it seems like a job that can only be done when the rest of the house is sparkling clean, and the sparkling clean floors will be the cherry on top of it all. But let's be honest, my house is not going to get to that point. I can get it clean most days, but I'm really not going for perfection, and nor do I want to. These floors have seen a lot of coffee spills, spit up, dirty diapers, dog hair, and who knows what else. They deserve a good clean no matter what state the rest of the house is in. So today, I'm getting the mop bucket out of the closet, filling it with some hot water and a little bit of cleaning concentrate, and going to town. And what do you know? My son only wanted his mom while I did this. Baby wearing is always a lifesaver. I could have gotten this done whether my husband was home or not. What I've learned most this year is that a lot of the things I do to care for our home are not actually hard. Half of the battle is mental. To start on the task, to do it efficiently without really thinking. My mind tells me that all the steps of doing a task like these are difficult, but that's actually not true. I can do something like mopping the floors or wiping windows without much thought. If that's where you are this winter, trying to muster up the will to do some of these every once in a while chores, I encourage you to just pick a few that will make the biggest difference in your home. Although someone else's checklist might guide you in the right direction and help you know where to start, you don't need them to tell you what your home needs. Just look around and assess what needs to be done. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just look around and pick a few things that stick out to you. You can even set a timer for whatever amount of time you have and just get started. I bet you'll get much more accomplished than you think. Thanks for joining me on this week of resetting our home. To some, it might seem like not much was done, but in this season of homemaking, I'm really proud of what got done this week. I hope you've been encouraged to care for your own home in a slow but steady way alongside me here in the Pineside home.